Hey, yo, let's get it, man. You know what it is? Trap here, man. Listen, another one of those market updates. You know what I'm saying? Instead of listening to the news, let me show you what the charts are saying, my guys. Listen, I wanted to wait to do this market update actually a little bit more because, we have the Clarity Act today, but, whatever. We're just going to get it done today and we'll do another one. As usual, we do these often. Try to be on a weekly basis, unless there's a lot of chop and things going on that makes no sense for me or you to be here wasting our time, right? But with that said, let's just go briefly throughout the markets. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to put you onto a gem that I gave to my trap room, which is above the close friends, right? It's something that takes a little bit longer to develop, but it's a little bit safer. Still high risk. It's an investment. All investment bring risk, right? So you need to understand that before you invest in anything, and only invest what you can afford to lose or you can afford to park for a longer time. So at the end, I'm going to show you a gem that I gave the Trap not too long ago, and I always give the option. Hey, you don't want that much risk? Buy the stock, swing it, goes up, you sell. If you want a little bit more risk, buy the option. Those are going to do more money, right? But also on the downside, you can also lose more money. So it all depends on where you want to be. If you want even more money and you want to be more committed and you want more risk, then you do what's called a leap, right? You buy further into the down the road. And then at the end of the day is all this information that I put together for you, right? So that you can start to understand that news that are happening today, even tweets, are actionable, right? That's why I post Trump's tweets. Not because Trump guy. No, it's because those things affect the market. And because you're a trader or investor, you need to know when these things are happening so that you can also take advantage of this actionable information that I put out, right? And that's what I want to explain. So long story short, I'm gonna go over the market update as usual, go over the mains, and then we'll divert into a little bit of the news, global events of what's going on. Check out the Forex Factory, see if there's anything in this week that can cause volatility, like the core PPI that I said it was going to cause hella volatility, and it did, right? So ideally that. But there's a lot of things going on in the world. The world is being restructured financially. Did you know that? Right? The world is in a moment right now where things are everything that was a one way now it's changing. They're trying to, BRICS trying to change the dollar, Trump trying to take over the oil and energy and AI race. It's a race going on right now, and the superpowers of the world are the one heading it, right? China, Russia, United States, India, those places. But it's anybody's game right now. So that's why I'm saying the next 5 to 10 years will be crucial for you to build a bag, for you to build your life and everything else, because I feel like after 10 years from now, it's going to be way harder to move up in a social class financially, if I may say. Right? So with that said, let's get into these charts, man. Let's see what the chart's talking about, because the charts, man. The charts always bring it through before anything else. You can tell something's on the charts. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a gem that has been running, but it's still got time because it's early, right? And I'm going to show you why I found that gem before everybody else. And it's all has to do with analysis, technical analysis, right? Economic analysis, and then a little bit of math, right? Check the stock, see how much money they're making, who's running the company, how's the competency of the people running, how's the C level. You look at those things, how many shares out there, what's the short flow. There's a few things that you want to look at, right? So that you can make these decisions. But ideally, you want to be paying attention to what's going on in the news instead of using the news just for fear mongering and, oh my God, World War III is over. Use it to your advantage so it can give you a little bit of an upper chance. You know what I mean? Almost like a little bit almost like a cheat code, right, above everything else, everybody else that don't pay attention like this. Long story short, we're gonna get started here, right? So the first one that we usually go through is obviously this is ES, which is the futures of the S&P 500, right? So 7,536, which is amazing numbers. We're just 5,000 a couple years back, so 7,000 is good. Some people are talking about 8,000 by the end of the year. That's not my thesis. I think that we're gonna have some correction over the summer, probably pretty decent correction, and I'm looking to deploy over that correction. Right? I could be wrong, and I'm gonna be sitting on cash, which is never a negative thing. Cash is always a position. I'm gonna have to bring this back. I'm gonna bring the camera back, and I'm gonna tell you in your face one more time. I gotta repeat this one more time so everybody understands. Cash is always a position. You never go wrong by taking profits, and you can never go wrong by holding cash. unless you hold it for long in a savings account. Now, that's not what we're talking about. What I'm saying is that you need to have liquidity available so that when you have double-digit red days, you can deploy them. When you have opportunities like the one I'm going to show you then, you can deploy them. If you're in the trap room, you already know this. If you're in the close friends, you already know this, but you didn't take advantage because the close friends is in and out. But the trap room, you know, because you've seen it on close friends. Then I moved it over to Telegram and I say, hey, this one right here, I'm moving it over because this right here is going to pump, right? So I'm going to give you that at the end of the video after everything else. So back to the video. All right, so look, as you guys can see, right, this is the S&P 500, obviously gas, it's moving, and people are so puzzled because people are like, oh, how can it be? We're struggling as a personal person, and we don't can't pay the bills, but how's the Wall Street people killing the game? And let me tell you something on the microphone real quick. You have to understand that we are in crossroads of civilization times. We've never been here before. And this right here will literally be the mark in the sand that divides who runs the next 100 years and who struggles and becomes slave the next 100 years, right? And that evolution is going to come from AI, right? AI is going to create energy revolution. That's going to tag along. Is going to be just huge. It's bigger than the wheel. It's bigger than manufacturing. It's bigger than computers. Bigger than it's just one of the biggest things that we've never seen something like this in our life, and it will change our life drastically. Like, so we're in the cusp of the world change. So like when your kids grow up, or my kids grow up, they're gonna be like, yo, my dad was, trading and manually, like a long time ago, before this thing happened. He was part of the, like pushing out the information of the new system where nobody believed that the new system was being built. My dad was out in the internet telling everybody, listen, man, the trap is being rebuilt. Y'all better get to the sauce. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what's happening right now. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. Now, I'm not saying one way up only. We're going to have some dips. Some of them are going to be large corrections, 15, 20% in a day. And those are the opportunities, right? Find companies that are up and coming, whether it's then midstream, upstream, or you know what I'm saying? If you don't understand what that is, means that, okay, AI is cool, chips, right? And then, but how to make the chips, you need something else. That's downstream, right? Oh, but will the chips work for? Or you got to put them inside the computers. That's upstream, right? So you have to understand that there's multiple variations of what you can plug in and experience the upswing. Sometimes you're going to be late, and that's okay, right? Ideally, you want to make asymmetric bets, right? Take some risks, and one of them paying off pays the other ones that you miss. So ideally, that's what we call the 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 strategy, right? You risk $1 to make 3. If you lose $1 and lose another dollar, and then you lose another dollar, that's $3 loss, and you make one, you hit one, that's $3 gain. So that's 0, 0, and then you start again. So ideally, that's why you want to approach it, right? But what do I see here on the S&P 500 is very simple. We just broke all-time high again, created a new all-time high. This white bar that I have on top here, that was the old all-time high. We just created a new one, and it's just been doing that over and over after it broke out of this range here, which you see the rectangle, right? The rectangle range. So what I'm saying is this: companies are laying off mad people. We've never laid off this many people in Q1, okay? Just so you know. We have never in the history, you could look this up, we have never laid off this many people. So what's happening is what we're seeing now, this whole week, we had the earnings, right? So the companies are now saying, hey, this is what we did in the first quarter, the Q1 of the year. This is how much money we spend, this is how much money we make, this is what we invested on, and that's the 13 Fs. So I don't know if you're paying attention to the stories, but I've been telling everybody that I'm going to be investing 6 figures publicly so everybody can know. I'm going to buy a combination of stocks, some options, and some crypto, right, that I want to run up, just like I did back in 2019, in 2023, when I was buying Sui at $1.20. I was buying all these companies, and I'll say, hey, but that one was just crypto. This time I'm going to make both. It's going to be crypto and stocks. And obviously I'm going to say some public stuff, but most of the things are going to be said only in my live, right? Like in my close friends, I'm going to give some information, and the deep, like the whole breakdown, the portfolio, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, that's going to be on my Telegram, right? Because obviously there's tiers to it, right? So the more access you have, the more information you're going to have, but I'm still going to put fairly good amount of public information. But I'm also going to invite you guys to Zooms where I'll deploy some money. I'll tell my strategy, break it down. So just make sure you stay trapped. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stay, hip to the game. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're following, you know what I'm saying? Make sure your notifications are on, and make sure you stay aware, because we're dropping. With summer, doesn't matter. Up, down, we're still dropping gems from time to time. Yeah, we're not as active as you were when things are good, but we're still out here. We have not We have not taken away the face from the game. We've been here putting face game up. A number goes up, number goes down. I'm out here. You feel me? I got a community. We still trading. Maybe not as much as we did at one point, but we still here, and that's the important. We don't give up, and this for you, because good times are coming, right? So long story short, the reason why the S&P 500 keeps going up and nobody understands is that we have laid off the most amount of people. Every time you laid off a person from these companies, a $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 savings. Now you multiply that by 10, you're talking $1 million they save. You multiply that by 100, you're talking about freaking I don't know, millions. And now you're talking about if these people fire thousands of people, multiply that by hundreds. You're talking millions and billions of dollars, right? That these companies are saving, yet they're not losing, because back in the days when they laid off people, right? The company, because they couldn't output the same. So they removed the input and the output suffer. Now they're not removing the input. They're substituting some of the stuff, that repetitive work that can be done for somebody that you're paying 50, 60,000. Now that can be done completely by AI. So these are the things that are going to start happening. That's what you're seeing on the earnings, right? You're seeing spikes, and we got Nvidia. Nvidia is going to go through the roof. We could have a rejection because earnings doesn't mean nothing. Sometimes earnings can do well and the stock still tank. Doesn't mean nothing. But Nvidia is going to just say, hey, listen, we here or not. But long story short, this is where we at right now. That's the reason why S&P 500 keeps going up, and I hope that you understand that, so that you don't miss out. I'm not saying that we're not gonna have some negative times. I'm aware of that. But as you guys can see, what has been happening right here in this chart, we're gonna do similar things that we have been doing, which is what? This right here: upward momentum, dip, upward momentum, dip, sideways, upward momentum. So we have all the things here. We have distribution, we have manipulation, we have accumulation, right? So it's going to be happening over and over, and it's up to you to start to identify those. And obviously, like I said, do your own research, but this is what I'm looking at, and I like what I'm seeing so far, even though I believe wholeheartedly that we still have a really decent amount correction coming before October, right? And the reason for that is because I feel like this whole thing is kind of like orchestrated almost, in a way where, like, okay, we're fighting now, we're gonna take a little hit, we got things going on the macro side. You got Cuba, Iran, Venezuela, China, all these problems that we got. We're trying to manage them all and still grow an economy, right? But I feel like as we progress in this game, we're gonna do a little bit better. But until we do a little bit better, we're gonna go down. Okay, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be like a downturn. I'm thinking anywhere between 55 to 60,000 Bitcoin, but I'm being conservative because I'm the most conservative guy on the internet. But that's the type of numbers that we're doing, and then we're back in October. Why? Because we got elections in November, and if there's elections, people are everything is better in the economy. It tends to really affect the elections for the sitting people. So like the president, sitting Republican, he wants to add as many people as possible, so he don't want to go through the midterm elections, right? That can get him impeached later, because if he doesn't put too many people in the midterm elections, senators, Congress, the people that can keep him there, the other people that come in can vote him out, impeach him, and things like that. So he doesn't want that. So I feel like he wants to be our saviors, meaning like, oh, by October, November, we'll see that thing back up, right? And it's usually Q4, things like that start happening. And the other thing too is that if we go with a 4-year cycle, usually it's 3-year bull, 1 year bear, right? And it's usually, it could be a little bit longer, a little bit less, but usually that's the norm. So that means that if we did go into the bear in October of last year, that means in October of this year, we'll be right back in to bull, right? So we'll be flipping back over. So we don't know. These are all speculations, right? But doesn't keep you from understanding. And this is not time to be spending money, okay? This is time for you to be raising money, raising capital, to have liquidity to buy this next dump, because we have been waiting for this amazing pump for 3 bull runs already, okay? 3. The first one was good, but then we expected more, and then we wanted to do this last time, and it didn't do that, right? We didn't get 150,000 Bitcoin. We didn't get $8,000 Ethereum. We didn't get $300, $400 Solana. We didn't get that. We got close to some of it, but we didn't get it. We still do for that, okay? I don't know when it's coming, but we're closer than we were last cycle, and that's why I want you to keep paying attention, right? So with that said, new Fed coming in, right? And that's another reason. Hey, Trapp, why are you not deploying your money? It's good prices. Yeah, I know. But first of all, dollar cost average is a constant situation. Second of all, we have 2 things that are happening that are very big that could affect the market in a very strong way. One is that we have a new Fed chair in, right? So Jerome is out as the Fed chair. He's still in the SEC because he has a little problem. They're trying to arrest him for spending too much money building the new renovation, and he's like, "Oh, because you did that, now I'm stay here and I'm gonna try to mess things up," because he knows the new guy was put in by the current president, and the current president put him in there too, but they just don't mess with each other anymore. But this new guy was put in there. He's likely gonna cut some interest rates, even though he's kind of like dovish. He's more of like he's not like super lenient. He's not like super chill, whatever. He's a little structured, similar to Jerome, but he understands game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in. He want to play the game. You know what I mean? So that's one. So I'm waiting for him. He's already got sworn in, but he has not done his first meeting yet. And that's what we want to see, right? What is he talking about? Is he dovish? If he's hawkish, what is he talking about? Is he talking about new cuts, no cuts? Is he going to be printing money? Not. He's going to be allowing interest rates to go down. Not. These are the questions we want to ask. We want to see what he's saying. Maybe he comes in and gives us BS, but at least you see the face, you see what's going on. That's one. The second thing is we need to end the Iran war, right? Because as you guys can see, we had a spike in the core PPI, which is like inflation. And the reason why we had that is because everything is priced through oil, right? Oil, even the snacks that you eat has to do with oil. But you're like, Trapp, I don't put oil in my snacks. Like, what's going on? Yeah, but how you think that snack got to your house? Somebody had to drive it there. Somebody had to fly it there. A container had to drive it overseas, maybe, right? And that all creates oil. So oil is embedded in everything, and that's why sometimes CPI and the core PPI is usually that. Sometimes you want to see, oh, let me check. The CPI is everything, right? And then when you do core PPI, it's like how much is costing to move this thing around? How much is the people that make the stuff? How much is costing them, right? And that's what they want to gauge, and you want to see that. So long story short, man, navigating these times is what you have to understand. There's going to be some ups and downs, but ideally you want to stay tapped in just because of the fact that it's up and going. It's like it I don't know when it's gonna rain gold, but so you need to get your team buckets out before. It's not make sense for you to get in the rain. You're still gonna get some gold when it's raining, but like you want to position yourself early, and that's the trap. That's one of the things I pride myself most on, right? Like I put you guys onto Wolf, Terra Wolf at $1, right? And that thing skyrocketed, went 20. That's 20x. If just a spot, if you would have just bought a spot, just bought the stock and held it, you would have been killing it. Right now, it corrected. I get it, whatever. But it's still like $15, $16. That's 15x. If you bought stocks, you're crazy profits right now. So if you bought options, forget it. You printed a bank, right? If you held it, obviously. So what I'm saying is ideally you want to catch these plays, and that's one of the plays I'm going to give you at the end. So look, anyways, back to the charts. This is the gold chart that we're seeing right now. Similar, we had an upward momentum, ended up breaking down 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, been breaking down. That now we're in distribution space, right? With sideways situation, and from that sideways, we're either going to go up and retest the all-time high again, or we're going to start breaking down, and maybe that money's going to leave somewhere else. Is the money going to stay in gold, or is it going to go somewhere else? It's going to get to high risk assets. Are the profit taking? These people believe that gold's going to go higher? We don't know. I think we can get a $6,000 gold still, right? Once things start moving, but as of right now, it's sideways. And then you see these blue lines here, these two blue lines, they're monthly formations. That means that I marked them on the monthly candles. So that means they're stronger, right? So that means we have two areas that are very hard to break above us, right? One is this blue one that we're interacting with. Look how many times we got rejected. As soon as we broke above this one, we went and created a new all-time high. So that means that we have to watch for when we break above those two blue lines. And listen, if you're in the Trapp ecosystem or you're in the close friends, and if you're not watching this, obviously terrible. But if you're watching this and you still don't understand what I'm talking about, or you still can't grasp what I'm trying to show you before, I'm not just going over this to be like, let's check the post. No, I'm literally giving you the game. I'm telling you here, what are the next levels? Where are going to be the places where we're going to have a hard time breaking through? Where are going to be the places that we're going to land if we don't go there? That's what you got to pay attention to. So the blue lines, what you should be doing now is you should be checking out what the blue lines are, and you should be putting a freaking alert there. 44, this one right here is around, let me see what is high. It's around the 47, 42, right? And then the other blue line is around 5,000. So like I know, and even 5,000 is a psychological level. You already know. I always talk about that. If it ends with a 0, right, that psychological is very harder to get through. But once you get through, if you establish yourself above it, it's harder to come down as well. But these are all the things you got to pay attention, right? You got to pay attention to these because this is what's going to dictate if you're going to get into some of these moves at times like this, when you see it's breaking out of the box, the trap box, and you catch this whole upward momentum, or you're just going to buy tops here and, sell down here like most people do. So like that's up to you to follow, pay attention, do some due diligence too. But what I'm seeing in gold is I want to see it above this purple box, right? So the top of that purple box is 48.54. I need it to break it there, right? So we can go retest somewhere around 49.46. Otherwise, we get a rejection on this blue line and we break under this square box right here, the rectangle box, then this level is game, which is 44.46. Now, this is the weekly, obviously, RBV. If you're moving to the daily, you're going to see a little bit different, right? But still, you can see here that, let me amplify this, all right? You can still see here that we have been going on a sideways situation, right? Broke under it up from above here, then came all the way down, got back into the rectangle, and now we're there. And if you go in a daily, you see the blue line is a powerhouse, right? That blue resistance line right there, this is a monthly formation. Look how many times it interacted with it. 5 times here, over here. It broke up out from here. It landed right there when it corrected, right? Up here. Then it got into this area, and this box right here, I marked it because that's where we broke down from, right? We went as low as this much right here, which was 45.03, and then now we're back in range. And then we've gotten above the blue line, but we're under the blue line, above the blue line, under the blue line. So that means that it's becoming very hard to establish. And now it becomes even harder because now all the averages, the EMAs, are in the same area. So this right here is called decisive timings, right? And the stock still don't know where it wants to go. The asset, actually, because in this case it's gold. They doesn't know where it wants to go, right? The bears and the bulls are pretty equal in buys and sells. Therefore, nothing has spiked or broken down. And that's this area right here. We call it a distribution phase. We'll either have manipulation or accumulation after it, right? So this is the area that we're looking at. And obviously you want to be aware of that area. Maybe, set an alert here, breaks above it, good. And then to really confirm it, I wanted to break above this purple box, which is where we break down from, right? So we broke down from there. It's the low. We've been in this low area since this area right here, right? Which is April 26th, right? So not too long ago. So I want to see it break that, right? With force, so that I can be convinced that we're going for a new leg up. All right, so that's gold. Let's just take a quick look at a silver as well. Right, so this is silver right here. Also, this is the weekly. And silver is doing similar, right? So sideways chopped. We broke out of the trap box here, ran up, new all-time high. Sideways now. This new trap box, we gotta watch it. So the middle of the trap box is where I put the alert here. We're about to break out of there. We wicked above it, but we didn't break above it, right? So keep an eye on this area. I would put some alerts somewhere around 77.44, breaks above it, and then to confirm, I want to see a breakout above 88, right? If it doesn't and breaks down, then this is the bottom right here, 66.81. Breaks that, and we'll come see this other white line at 59. That's what I'm seeing for silver. Let's go to the big daddy, baby. The beady coin. Who don't love Bitcoin? Y'all out of your minds. Y'all out of your minds. Look, this is the weekly, okay, on the Bitcoin. What do we see here, okay? We see that this was likely a local bottom at 60,000. Remember, I always say psychological levels are hard to break, but they are also hard to break when they become support. So on the way up, they're hard to break, right, as a resistance. But once you break above it with some volume and establish above it, it's also hard to go back down as a breakthrough support, right, and break down. So keep that in mind. So far right now, we have a $60,000 bottom. Then we went sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, got 2 green days, another 2 red days, and now we broke above. Right, so that alert right there would have put you in the game. 7,963, which is the yellow line that I put in, that would have put you in game. Broke above that, we're running. Right, where is the next area that I want to see it break above? This next yellow line here is 83,300. I want to see it above that. But a really hard area that's going to be hard to break, $86,663 around that area. Very strong resistance there. We need to break that and then come here to retest this area. That's what we broke down from. That's what we were accumulating before, and we broke down from there, which was about January, right? So in January, 93,000 is where we started descending from after this big drop here, right? All-time high, first drop, second drop, and we could have a third. I know I don't want to be that guy, you know, but we could have a third, and that third can go as low as 54, which is this yellow line right here. And people don't like to hear, but I'm the most conservative guy on the internet. Some people are calling for $30,000 Bitcoin, which is ridiculous. But anything's possible in crypto. You cannot write anybody off sometimes. There's a lot of people here don't know what they're talking about, but you know, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So you gotta pay attention, do your own research, but figure it out. But what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin, right? Very simple. Breakdown right here, change of direction. That's that yellow candle. Broke down sideways, got rejected, tried to come in and take over again above the 100. That didn't even get close. It just did 98, something like around 98. That's it. Wicked over there. Didn't even close, right? Then we saw they started getting a resistance right here, 91. Then couldn't break that resistance, that white line, that trap line right there. Couldn't break it. Got rejected, opened lower, and then took us all the way down to 60, which was the new bottom. Now, we didn't close down there. That means that technically we didn't really go under 71,000. You feel me? Like, if you really want to get technical about it, yeah, we went down to 60, but that was a wick out. The actual candle that same day closed at 71. So that wick out's manipulation to take down all the shorts that are down there. You feel me? I mean, or the longs that are down there before it pumps again. And that's what we did. It took out all the longs that were down here, right? And then it longed, and then it went higher. So these are the areas and the local levels I'm looking for. But look, do you see the same way that we got rejected here for that yellow trap line? We have that trap line right here at 80,000, right? We keep going up and down on it, but ideally we want to make sure we establish above all these lines right here, somewhere above 83,500 to be 100% sure that we're back to some business, right? To come and interact with this area here from 83 to like 100, right? And then 100 psychological as hell. So we gotta get above this red candle right here to even talk about all-time highs again. This one right here, this one is specific right here. We gotta get above it, right? This one right here, that's where we broke down from. This whole breakdown right here, started right there. Right, that's the first red candle that brought this entire red thing down. So for us to go back and be like, oh yeah, are we definitely going back to new all-time highs? Not only we gotta overcome this area, but also the blue lines. Remember the blue lines that I talked about on the other chart? Yeah, they all got them. You know what I'm saying? This is the Bitcoin blue light. They are very hard to break through. Look at this. Got rejected many weeks, broke down from it. Then it came with force, change of direction right here with this blue line, broke a structure, boom, 2 times, gave us the all-time high, feel me? And then now broke all the way down. So these are the levels that I'm looking. If we get rejected here in this area around 80,000 again, we come retest worst case scenario, the area of 70. So what's the range? 70 to 80 right now is the range that we got to watch. Above 80, you know, bullish, you know, if it gets rejected at 80, we'll short it down, you know what I mean? To worst case scenario 70, but it could move fast. Right, depends on news. There's a lot of things going on that are fragile right now. But boom, that's the weekly. Okay, so let's go down to the daily. You know, take a look at what's going on there. The daily on on Bitcoin, right? You can kind of like see a similar scenario of what we're talking about. So you see here, look at this, rejected in that trap line. Okay, this is one trap line. This is another one. Okay. It rejected here a little bit, then it pumped over and it got rejected there. And that's not just a trap line. This blue line right here is one of the average, right? The EMAs. So is it a 25, 50, 100, 200 that I usually put there? But you want to see it got rejected. I think actually that's the 200. But long story short, it's in between them, right? So it's very indecisive. It's gonna continue to go sideways because you know the bulls and the bears are very there's equilibrium going on right here, or we haven't get manipulation yet. So what I'm seeing here is that we are getting a rejection right now. Okay, we went as high as here. That was a few days ago when everybody got hyped, almost hit 83 bands, and then we had a doji candle almost here. You know what I'm saying? That indecisive. Then we have a red day. Then 3 green days, and now 3 red days. So what's gonna happen is this same candle here that's indecisive right now. It has a bar on top and on the bottom, similar size with a squeeze in the middle. That's usually indecisiveness, right? We don't know how this is gonna close. We can take a look at it in the lower time frames to see where it's going, but this is not positive. And if we lose this area right here, which is the second trap line at 80,500, we're gonna go retest this lows here, right where we broke out from, which was right after we shifted this candle right here, this yellow candle right there. So that's what I have for Bitcoin, okay? On the daily, we can even go down to the hourly, see what they're doing. You see, the hourly is already recovered. The hourly recovered a little bit, right? It's trying to come and interact with that top line. Got above the first line, trying to interact with the top one. But it's three areas of very strong resistance here. This is only the first one. Actually, you saw that? The three candles just turned bullish. Long that thing. Long Bitcoin right now. Right, so keep that in mind when you're moving. All right, so back to the charts. Let's go with the king is here. Ethereum. Yeah, it hasn't been the king for a long time, gang. I know. ETH been playing with us a little bit too much, but hey, still great company, still great for accumulation. And let's check the charts, right? This chart's a little bit busier. I traded Ethereum a little bit more, so I like to stay up with my my areas really up to date. So long story short, we see a similar thing, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, very the top two. So whenever you see one chart, you kind of see the other because they're like 70% of the market. So like, you know, you're gonna see the similar patterns. That's like the S&P 500 correlation with QQQ. Is like the whole S&P 500. The biggest companies there is QQQ. So if QQQ goes up, the S&P 500 goes up. Right? You gotta understand correlations too. I teach that in my mentorship class. So correlations are very important, right? Just like if you're trading crypto and you're not looking how Bitcoin is doing, that's a problem. Bitcoin's 60% of the market. If Bitcoin moves, then you got to go trend. If Bitcoin, you can't go counter trend. You could, but it's just not viable to win all the time like that. You got to go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? You heard that before. So long story short, when you see one, you see the other, right? So here, same thing. We broke down from all-time high, a little down, then sideways, then down again. Now we're sideways again. Now from this sideways, what can happen, Trap? Well, we go back up here somewhere, or it's here, or we're gonna reject in this area and then break down. What are those areas, Trap? Well, the bottom, right? Same thing happened here. That was the bottom. Didn't close down there, even though Ethereum went to 1700 area, 1750, whatever. It didn't close there. It actually closed right back above this line right here, which is 2100. And between 2100 and 2500, that's where we play all the time. Those are levels, right? Above 2100, we're gonna go 23, then 25. If it gets rejected 2100, we'll go back to 18, 1900. It's usually Ethereum just in that area. Look, same thing happened here, happened here, happened here, happened here. If you keep going back, it's usually same thing of different. Oh, different of same thing. You feel me? So like this is what I'm looking at. Okay, Trap. So what happens next? What happens next? I want to see a break above 2,430-ish, more or less. Depends on what chart you're looking. Varies a little bit, $2-3, something like that. Don't get caught up in the numbers. Just know levels. Okay, so that's that level I want to be seeing. What happens when we get there? I'm not saying like, oh, we're gonna go all in there. No, I want to see when it interacts with that level. Is it gonna break down? Or is gonna break, or is gonna go with force break upwards momentum. So that's what you want to see. So I'll put alert here or 24.26. If it breaks above it, I can long it until the next area, which is this little white line here, and that's around 24, almost 2,500, right? That's a nice little smack right there. So this is that what I'm looking at, and this is the weekly. But if you're day trading, then you gotta go down, right? You gotta go down to the 4 hours, or maybe to the hour, and then later look even lower for your entries. But you want to see what the trend of the day is. What is trending right now? How's Ethereum trending? How's Bitcoin trending, right? And you want to do that and examine how how's the asset doing, right? So look, if I bring this back from all the way down here, from all the way back here, right, and I line it, you see it, right? You see it. Look at this. Try to get it here, right there. Look at this. You see it, right? So this is the hourly. Look at this. Above a little bit, downwards, above. This is range trading, right? You can buy here, sell there. Buy here, sell there. Buy here, sell there. Buy here, right? It goes a little lower. Don't sell it. And then buy, sell there. Same thing here, right? If you sold here, buy here. Sell here. Now you're down here. Guess what's going? Guess what's going on? I bet I didn't have the arrow on. So what I'm saying is this is a range. Okay, it's range trading. So if you're a day trader, you range trade this. One is on the bottom of the trap, you buy. One is on the top, you sell. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. What do you think is happening now? Buy. It's going to come back up here, somewhere here in these two lines, right? Is it 100% short? No, because if it was, we wouldn't be here, right? But that's the potential, and that's what I see that could be happening for Ethereum in the short term. Okay, boom. Let's go with Solana. the deer, everybody's little deer meme coin bazooka. So although Solana is not in the top 2 or top 3, it still has a lot of volume. So the price tends to accumulate and move as well similarly, right? Same thing here, right? Still top 10, so you still see a similar pattern, right? Here, we didn't get all-time high, but it was short time here, down, and then you pumped again. Now, down, and then sideways, down, sideways. So now we have two choices. Either we go break down here again and then go sideways, or we break upwards and go upwards to the right. Now, what levels are you looking at, Trapp, for Solana for this week, right? So the bottom, 82.75. The top, around 105, right? 105-ish, 105.87-ish, or more or less. So that's what I'm doing. It's right now currently in the middle of the trap box at $94.31. If we should put an alert here, because if it goes above it, then it's gonna go retest the top of the trap box, which is around 105. So right now there's about about $10, $10 that you can long on Solana right now, betting on the but this is still the weekly, remember, right? So let's go see what it's doing on the weekday, on the 4 hours, see if maybe we can day trade it instead. Because you know I like calling some of these plays live. You know I don't mind that at all. You know that. All right, so look, same thing here. We got it. You got that chop. You know, let me remove this. Got boom. Now we're here. Okay, so this is the 4 hour. It seems like it's recovering here, but if I really want to get it for sure, I need to get it above 98. Right, so that I know it's gonna back up, but you can still long it from here to the, and this is wild because all the EMAs are here too. You see them, 4 of them up here, and they kind of like did a similar move. So anyways, this is the 4 hours. Past few hours seems some type of a bounce, could be a cat bounce, but that's Solana for you, man. All right, keep an eye on those levels that I told you there, and you should be all right, you know. All right, so look, the other thing here we're going to talk about, let's see. Okay, this is so, okay. Oh, let's talk about you and me. All right, look, this is the NASDAQ. I mean, my bad. It's the US 100, okay, on the weekly. Traded a lot of this when I was doing Forex. Look at these numbers. Look at these beasts. Look at what's going on in this chart, man. You think this is a bearish chart? Does this look bearish to you? 1, 2 green candles, and then 4 breaker structures, one after the other. Boom, 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 boom. Now off the EMAs on the weekly. Like this thing is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're gonna do this, and upwards again, sideways, distribution, manipulation, capital. Like you're gonna have it all. You're gonna have it all, and they're gonna keep doing this to you because people don't believe it. People are like, I'm not waiting. I think it's gonna go down. It is. But if you're dollar cost averaging some of these things, there's no way you're not making any money, because these type of moves I'm starting to see wear off. And look, it broke through the blue line with strength. Now it has another one. Breaks through that blue line too, is over. This thing is going higher, right? That's my number right there that I'm thinking is going about 30,000. I think NASDAQ, the US 100 will be at 30,000 very fast, very soon. And it's coming, right? And a lot of people not seeing it because they just don't know where the money's coming from. But I'm telling you, it's coming. They're here. The money is here, right? So boom. Now I'm 40 minutes in. I'm usually never this long on the market updates. I got a little carried away, but I'm gonna put this on YouTube as well. That's why. But I want to show you guys that stayed this long. I want to reward you with the gem that I told you, okay? And the gem that I told you is called SMCI, okay? So Trapp, what the hell you gotta do with SMCI? Like, what going on? Why I gotta know about this company? What is going on here? Pay attention to the chart first. First, you listen to the chart, and then I'm gonna put you on the game. Okay? $123 local top 11. Could be the all-time high I'm looking at right now. This is the weekly, but I'm not saying that's gonna be. But anyhow, 123.11 is the top. Okay? Right now, trading at 23. But wait, let me show you something. Right now, it's trading at 33. Okay? But at one point, it was trading at $19.60. And over here, around $23, okay? Right around March 30th, was trading around $30. And guess who said something like, hey, This might be a little jam here. You got a little jam potential for the trap. So I started looking into it. SMCI, what going on? What company? What they do? How much share? The thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do that live for you to see what are the numbers that I was looking at and then why the stock was tanking, right? Because if you look from the all-time high they had, that's a big correction, right? Let's check how much that is. That correction was a little measuring here. We're going to put it from the top, okay, all the way to the bottom. So, boom. Yeah, that's 90%, okay? That's 90. So people will look at this stock and they be like, we're not touching that. We're not touching a stock that dropped 90%. But wait, Trapp got a method. This Trapp method. Just wait. Let me show you what I was thinking. First of all, I'm not talking about that top drop, but this top drop right here from 66 or maybe even a little lower, like maybe this drop right here, right? I don't know. I'm not sure, but any of these drops, right? Let's talk about this area here, not the all-time high, but let's just talk about this bottom area here. When I'm looking at this stock and I'm seeing how much money they make and whatever going on, right? First of all, we go and we look for it, right? So SMCI, right? A stock. We go there. We get in here. Micron computers, you know, AI thing, you know, everything that has to do with computers, chips, things like that seems to be moving, right? And then you're like, okay, you know, you go here, look at the market cap, 19 billion. So it's a large cap company, right? No dividends, okay. 52-week low, 1949. The high was 33. So you start thinking, oh, okay, like what's going on here? Like, is this a good stock? Does it have a decent idea, or is it already tired out? Now, this is where it changes the trap from everybody else. Because I look at the news, I'm tapped in because I know I can make money from it. And I keep telling people all the time, bro, you could make money from actionable news, right? But most people are using the news just to fear yourself, to keep you in fear, to keep you locked down, lower level of energy, right? And people don't realize that. But that's another story. But long story short, this is what made me think, okay? I'm sitting at the trap and I see, and I think we're talking about, you know, stocks, because, you know, crypto, I've always traded options, and then I got that money and I bought spot crypto. I never liked, if you follow me, you know, I don't like trade. I do trade leverage crypto sometimes. I'll play a little money when the market's hot, whatever, I do it. But not when the markets are not choppy or anything like that, because the places manipulate. Like Blowfin, Blowfin is one that is a good one, right? But I'm not saying they manipulate. I'm saying like places like that are decentralized. Blowfin, Bitonix. There's a couple others, right? I'm not gonna make advertisement for them here, but Bitonix, I'm saying this publicly again. They kept me out. There's a glitch in their system, apparently. They're saying it's a glitch. I don't believe that, but it could be. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So allegedly, I'm going to say all this allegedly. I was trading at Bitonix, okay? Decent size, was about a whole ETH. Because, you know, I have a risk portfolio. I don't want to spend more than $500 on a risky play, but it was nice. There was volume. Things were going on, so I did an ETH, right? I was longing the stuff, and it was worth it. Long story short, I get a message from them telling that I'm close to getting liquidated, right? But I knew my stop loss. I knew what was going on. It's okay. So I try to log in. I'm on my phone. I try to log in. After that text, I get the text. Can't log in. I don't get the message. I get the message for that I'm getting eliminated, but I don't get the text message that is the two factor, right, for me to get in. So I feel like that's a manipulation. And later on, they say, oh, it could be a problem because you logged in on your desktop and your phone and back and forth, whatever. That could be that you're not getting. I don't care what it is. What I care is that I lost a whole ETH that day. And that's a problem, right? So I'm in the process now, you know, tapping in with Blowfin. So I'm about to maybe do some kind of like, you know, some type of like, not a partnership, you know, Trapp not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But Blowfin, if you want to, you know what I'm saying, partnership and sponsor, you know what I'm saying, I'm open. You know what I mean? I never know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to do some type of like a reciprocal relationship with them, right? So that I can have some things for my followers, because I want something that is, you know, decentralized, you know, and I like that. But long story short, That's the reason why I don't trade crypto, because they can manipulate prices. They, like a price in one exchange is different than the other. Just like Robinhood is different than it's different. So price can be manipulated. So I'd rather not do that and be at their mercy of some people that I don't even know. They're not regulated. So I trade my money, my hard-earned money. If I want to risk it in that type of leverage, I'd rather go to stocks. I trade blue chips, technology stocks, Micron. I trade, things like that they have liquidity and there's no mess around with the price, even if there is not like crazy. So that's what I like. So we've never left. And a lot of the crypto co's, the key opinion leaders from Twitter, a lot of the crypto Twitter guys, they came to trade stocks. You feel me? They used to talk crap, but they now trading stocks, right? Because you got to keep money, bro. You got to keep trading. You can't just stop because the market's not doing well. So yes, so that's why we have been, right? And I opened the close friends, I think in May of last year, I think it was. And so we've ran up a whole year of close friends and the trap room, right? And we've ran that up, and now we're here. So we've been active in stock trading options Monday through Fridays, right? So we do research, we're looking at things, we at assets, we have alerts. But long story short, let's get back to this gem right here. Why this is a gem, and how'd you find it, Trap? I found it because of this right here. Boom. Let me see if it's this one right here. Nope, that's not it. Where did I put it, guys? So many tabs. Who does tabs and who does windows? Some people have multi-windows, some people have multi-tabs. All right, so this is actually the call out, okay? So look at this date, okay? March 21. March 21. I had called this out my close friends. And then since it was a little bit safer and I thought it was a longer play that we can stay in, I usually tend to move those into the to the Telegram, which is the money room, right? The Trap money room. And look what I said. Say moving this from close friends to low risk potential. I mean, to low, moving this from close friends, because over there is high risk, right? Close friends is in and out, scalps and meme coins and things like that, options. But whenever something is strong enough, I move that here because people are a little bit more seasoned in here. They have a little bit more money. They can sit a little longer, right? So I say, hey, listen, it's low risk, so I'm moving into high potential, right? Because it's low risk and we have time. I'm gonna drop an analysis here shortly about the entry and exit prices soon, but definitely a good opportunity to park some money, either stocks or even the options or the leaps. That's what I gave them. Okay, I gave them that. March 21. Let's go back to the chart and see what was the stock looking like March 21. March 21 is, oops, sorry, here. January. All right, peep game, okay? March 23 was right here. March 23, I literally caught the bottom, okay? We caught the bottom. The bottom. And I say, hey, I gave it to my close friends. I say, yo, decent opportunity. Let's get in here. Park the money in there. It's going to be opportunity, right? So a couple months later, we're already up. Crazy money. Even if you bought spot at around 20 that I gave you, you're up what? 10% is $2. So you're up like 60, 70% on your money in 2 months. That's not bad. 30% a month at all. Right? But if you bought leaps and calls, let me show you what happened. Let me show you what happened. If you bought leaps and calls like I gave it to y'all, let me show you what happened. Right here. Right? Where is it at? All right, so this is where the stock's trading today, $33. So if you bought at 20, you sold now, you made almost 60%, maybe a little bit, a tid more, right? This is the stats, okay? So the volume is there, 5 billion market cap, $23 is the 50-week up, 666. No, this is Mara. I'm sorry, bro. I added this here for no reason. Disregard that. I know why. It's because I gave to the Trap too. I gave Mara and I gave Chevron. I gave Chevron at 158 and now it's I think it's 180 or something like that, right? No, 186. Gave the Trap that too. So now this is what I wanted to show you guys. So the date added, okay? Look at the date added to the stock, 321. The day I called it, right? I said, hey, called it, boom. If you were to spend $154 that day with me for every contract you made at $486. Okay, so for every $1.50 you put, you get out $486 per contract. That's a 300% return on your money, right? And the reason why I do that is because I want you. I don't want to give you the fish every time. I want you to understand the thought process behind it. Trapp, how did you know it was going back up? That's the question. I get it. You made bread 300% again, and this is another one. This strike right here is different. This is a 30. I had 30 strike, 27 strike, different types of strikes, right? Trapp, how did you figure it out that that stock was going to go back up? Tell us, please. This is the reason right here. Let's see. Look at this. CEO in trouble. Trapp, you're slick. You're a slicky guy. As of May 2026, Sion Charles whatever is facing immense pressure and scrutiny, although he was not personally indicted in a major 2.5 billion illegal export scheme involving co-founder Yinxin Wali Lian. I'm not sure who that is. But the co-founder was caught selling to who? China. The scandal in March 2026. I'm telling you, the news is going to give you the bread. You just got to follow the crumbs. But you're worried about too much. You're only watching the news for the worry part. March 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice charged SMCI co-founder and board member Yinxin Wali Liao, along with 2 other employees, with running a scheme to smuggle $2.5 billion server equipped with restricted NVIDIA chips to China. See what I'm saying? So that was March, and that's why you seen this drop. The market overreacted. Right? Say, oh man, yeah, let me see. March, right here, right? So the market overreacted and it took the stock from up here, okay, all the way. That same day, dropped almost 58%, right? That's a big drop. 58% in a stock is ridiculous. And what I thought, I say, hey, hold up. I said, hold up. Let's analyze this from a logical perspective as a trader, okay? And I start thinking, I say, SMCI, okay, is in a good area, good mode, decent amount of size, 5 billion. They don't pay dividends, but, you know, solid company, got a C-level that is doing well. Okay, this guy got in trouble with 2 employees. Okay, I get it, but the company's huge. You know, and the guy's not even a CEO. It's not direct. So I'm like, I'm thinking, yeah, the market's definitely overreacting here. So it fits into my risk profile. I could be buying a dead stock at this point that's never going to bounce back. So the important part is how much the analysis that I put behind. And that's what I did. I checked who's the CEO, what's going on. I checked the employees. I checked the number. I do my due diligence. And then I say, hey, I think the market overreacted here. And this stock was a $123 stock at one point. And it was struggling in the low areas right here, right? It has been in this area since a long time ago. So it has to be like sub 70 for a while now. I get it. But I wasn't trying to go back to 120. I'm saying, hey, if I buy this stock at 20 and just go back to 40, that's 100% on spot. Who doing that out here? Who you know is giving you spot 100% return in 2-3 months here? They're not doing it. Trapp doing that. Because I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating it. Even ChatGPT on my yearly review, go to my lines, said, I'm a whisperer. I'm that guy, visionaire. That's me. Sorry, I had to pump my bag a little bit. But long story short, I thought the market was overreacting. And so I was like, hey, this is an opportunity, right? So it says, while Liang has not been charging, they're calling for his removal, all that type of stuff. Liang has stated that the company is a victim of the scheme, and it says that no one beyond the indicted was involved. So like they're saying, look, bro, you know, we got some bad apples. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But we're not done yet. Like, we're still a good company. We're still putting numbers. We still got a good employment going on. Like, the people that are here now are not going to be doing the crazy stuff anymore. So like, that's what I saw, right? And I saw that, and I was like, okay, let's make a bet. So I put the close friends together. I say, hey, let's get into some options here, and I send out the SMCI options that you see now. Okay, And listen, ain't no cap on my rap. You know what I'm saying? We just got receipts for everything. You know what I'm saying? We even got the posts for you to see. Like, you know what I'm saying? No cap on the rap. You know what I'm saying? Like right there. Let me show you. Oh, let's just put that back in there one time. You know what I'm saying? No cap in the rap. That's it. Date, March 21, open there. You know what I'm saying? For all my trap, I put it in close friends too. That's this. When you see a green star, when I post something green, that means this is my close friend. So look what I say. CEO got caught selling chip to China. Stock meltdown happened. Company value still the same. Once he's replaced or the thing gets fixed, good opportunity to park some money. Calls or stock. That's it. Guess what? And then you fast forward, you already know what happened after, right? You already know what happened after we print. You know what I'm saying? So we print 300%, right? We print 300%, $30 calls, $27 calls, $25 call. I called the 35, the 30, the 27, the 20. I called everything on the way up because I'm like, yo, if we're down here, all we have to do is go back to this area here, which is like the top of the trap box, I think it was. No, yeah. Like I was like, I don't even want to go to the top of the trap. I just want to go to this first breaker structure here, right? The little breaker structure here at 43. If I can get there, we living, right? So that's why I was like, I'm not going to go to the 43 strike, but I'm going to go 27, 30, 35. You know what I'm saying? Strike those areas because it's still there. And bro, guess what? You know what? You know what? You know what happened? You know what happened? 300% happened multiple times in multiple calls, right? This is the $30 one. I mean, this is the 28, I think, because it breaks even is at 29.50. So, do you get what I'm saying? Like, these are the opportunities that are passing by in front of you time and time and again, but we tend to miss it because either you're not paying attention, you don't have the notifications on, or maybe you follow too many people. But like I'm saying, bro, it's like pay attention and don't just follow the people that say buy this, buy that. Oh, I'm buying this because Trump is buying. No, bro. Why? Why else are you buying just because somebody else is buying? No, man. Do your homework, find out what really going on behind the stock. And or crypto or the asset, and then you get invested in it. You know what I mean? But like, anyhow, we'll finish it up with here. This is this week's forex calendar. It's not forex. It's just called Forex Factor, and they give you decent amount of data of everything that's going on. They have all types of folders. I care only about the red folders. Very often, very rare. I here and there I'll check another folder like a yellow folder or something like that. But I filter it out, right? So this is what I do. I do red folders only. You can do orange too sometimes to see, some things are a little bit, and then yellow, and then you got white folders. I usually just stick to the red, and I only go US. I don't care about none of the other noise. I apply that, and then this is what gives me, right? So the weekly, we had a Tuesday. And when you click here, if you don't understand what this is, if you click, there's an explanation for everything, okay? What it is, or what you can read on it. So like you just want to be lazy if you're at this point, if you're not trying to understand this, right? If you're a trader and not understanding these, like just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing it wrong, right? So if you're a trader, listen up. Listen up. If you're a trader, you need to understand everything, and this is part of it, right? Inflation. You need to know what the numbers are. You need to know that. Hey, if Jerome Powell, which is old school, but now the Warsh, the new Fed guy, speaking today, hey, I'm not gonna be long gonna call. I don't know what's gonna happen, right? So long story short, this is what you can do, and then here you got, well, usually they give you what happened before, which is the last column, and then in the middle it says forecast, which is what they're expecting, and then what the actual was, it's when they print. Right? If it prints what they're expecting, market tends to do well. If it prints higher, market tends to do red. So it depends on what you're paying attention. And this was the core PPI, right? So which was core PPI is, like I said, is what costs the people that sell your products, and then CPI is what is the inflation on the actual products, right? So we had that come out on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday again we had the month over month. And then we're gonna have this one was the year over month, year over year, and then got month over month here and month over month PPI. And look at them. They all came higher than expected. This one was expected 0.5, came 1.5. That's 3x. This one here, 3x. It was expected 0.3, came 1. This one here, 3.7, came back at 3.8. That's the year over year. That's because in the year over year, right, it's everything. So the beginning of the year helps. But the past month or two, because of the Iran war, has been making things more expensive. If we stay in Iran for another month, forget it. We're going hyperinflation. That's why I see the negativity coming, right? I'm not trying, listen, man, I'm not trying to make fear. I'm not trying to put fear on anybody. That's not the case here. What I'm trying to say is that based on my wits, okay, simple. 20% of the world's oil passes through the strait. If that thing is blocked, there's a few things happening. One, Iran is pumping oil because once you can't shut those things off. When you start picking oil off the ground, you can't shut it off. So they're grabbing and they're storing it. They're gonna run out of place to store at one point. Two, if 20% of the world's containers pass through there, what do you think happens to price on everything? Because like I told you, the oil is involved in everything. Cell phones, everything, anything. Look around anywhere. Somehow, some way, the oil price has correlation to it because it needs to be transported, air, sea, or land. Oil. You feel me? Like so, like it's everything. Plastics are made from petroleum. Like there's is involved in our lives. So this is a problem. So think about it. If we only be in a war, do the math. Don't quote me on the actual numbers of the war, but like think about it. If we be in a war, let's say 40 days. Let's say 30 for a better number. In 40 days that we have been, 30 days that we have been there, okay, the number increased 3x on the month to month, okay? So PPI month to month, which is, increased 3x. And then the core PPI also increased 3x in 30 to 40 days. What do you think happens if we stay there? Another 30 days, right? So that's the problem here. And that's why I'm thinking that we could see a delay on the actual pact that is going to happen between us. And that delay can cause, a little bit of a windmill downwards. And then once they fix it, we pump back up. And that's why I'm thinking is happening here. We're driving the economy down, the dollar and everything else, right? Right before the elections, we close and we pump it back up and we cut interest rate and liquidity flows and things just take off. What do you think they're gonna think in the election in November if things are booming? They're gonna forget all this stuff that we're going through. They're gonna forget the $7 gas that they had to pay for 3 months. You know what I mean? That's humans. We have very weak mind. Now y'all have y'all forget too easy. That's why you're still calling your ex-girlfriend. Don't complain to me. Go complain to your mama. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to tell you here. Y'all forget things too fast. You feel me? So keep that in mind. If we stay another 30 days, 40 days on this war, we got a problem in the economy. It's not permanent because once we fix the problem and things start flowing, we got hella oil too. We can pump it in. We'll fix it. But I'm saying is this is a calculated demolition of the global economy. And this could be where we switch a couple of switches, right? So pay attention to that. The U.S. is now selling oil too, took over Venezuela, stopped Iran. The demand's still there. So this is something that we have to pay attention to. But pretty much that's why I wanted to put you on. Make sure that you log into these. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Show some love, bro. I'm over here putting in hella content, putting my information out there. And remember, stay tuned because I'm about to start doing lives about the 100K portfolio where I'm going to turn that in. I'm not even going to say 10x, but I know I'm going to turn that in 2 to 3x in the next 12 months. I mean, the next 2 years, right? Because this is the bottom. And then once we flips, I don't know when it flips, but when it flips from bear to bull, this is the times that you get in. That's what I'm saying. The next 90 days, I'm going to be deploying money, right? I'm going to wait for the Fed to get in first meeting. Then I'm going to wait for a little bit of this Iran thing. But there are some companies that I'm already going to start buying, right? Things that I think that it still got hella potential, like Sui, right? Sui, I gave you guys Sui at 98 cents this time. Last time that I built this 100K portfolio, I gave you Sui a lot lower, a little bit higher, like a 120, and we still did a 3x, 4x, because Sui hit like $5. Now I give you guys Sui sub 98 cents. I give you guys Sui 98 cents at $5. That's a 5x. This is the easiest asymmetric returns. And listen, I'm not saying Sui just because I went to the event and they were cool to me. None of that. So if you want to sponsor me, I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the reason why I'm pumping you guys here. Pumping you guys because I like it. I went to the Temple House event on Sui. I like what I see there socially. I went to the event in the Faena. Shout out to Faena one time. I used to own actually a place in Faena. I used to own a piece of the salon inside the Faena for a few years. So I love that place. It's amazing, right? So do you see the levels, right? Temple House, Faena. This is the type of bread that we're talking about, right? High-end Sui. Or Sui. I don't know what you want to say it, but what I've seen here is that not only is good, fast, super fast. Ron Paul was in there talking crazy about it, right? I follow him. Shout out Ron Paul if you want to, I'm saying, ever, I'm saying, talk to your boy. I'm ready to bring you in. But, I'm a lot of respect for all your research and all the things that you talk about, right? So I was there, I listened close. So I participated to the Sui ecosystem in this consensus, and I understood what are they trying to build and what they already have, right? over $1 trillion in stablecoin processing and numbers going into the chain. They, you know, they're a strong team, a lot of the developers in the blockchain. And then lastly, to top it off, right, they already dumped on the people that invested last season. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is perfect timing to get back kind of like bottom level and then rebuild with them again. And then don't get me wrong, these companies gotta sell some of their stuff to keep pushing and keep building, right? So it's not like they dumping. You know, things go up just like you want to take profit. They gotta do it too. So don't get mad at them. Just get in it earlier instead of waiting for it to be $2-3, and you get in and you make a 80% return, and then it drops again 90. Then get in now. Get in at $1. Now, I'm not telling you to do this because it's financial advice. All I'm saying is that there are times where we're gonna have opportunities that are gonna take us to places that we want to be, and this is one of them. And it's happening the next 90 to 120 days. So between now, right, May and October, 5 months. Okay, so between 100, yeah, like 5 months. Okay, 5 times 3, 30, so 150. Between 120 and 150 days, we're gonna see like a lot of movement, and I want to be able to capitalize on some of those movements, and that's why I'm here doing research for the past 40 days on a portfolio to build. So I put it together for you guys, and I'm gonna break that down for the free. All you have to do is pay attention. Obviously, not everything about the portfolio. I'm gonna give you ideas and teach you how to fish, but obviously the insights will be in the close friends, and then the deeper report with everything with entry, exits, that will be in my trap room. If you're not in there, make sure you pull up, man. Let me know. Pull up with the link, and I always got some love. If you're new to the trap and you pull up, tell me discounts, promos, all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? By the close friends, I give you trap room, whatever it is. I'm here to help. And if you want the free sauce, here it is. I give it to you too. It ain't no problem. But if you want to go faster, we here. Until next time, protect the bag. You already know, man. We stay trapping. Yee!